Hello besties, we are back with another reading vlog this week and I am so excited for the reading that I have ahead of me this week because as you would have seen in the title of this week's video, we are going to be testing how many viral books I can read in 1 week while locked out of my phone. I am over the moon about this video for so many different reasons. The first one is I just feel like there have been so many books that have been so popular for months now that I have not read yet. I'm dying to hear what my opinion is on those books. And also you guys would have seen a lot of these popular books getting chosen in my most recent TBR video. And so I really want to get through my monthly TBR. So this kind of checks off those boxes. And then we have the added layer of being locked out of my phone. And so I want to talk just a little bit about what that actually means. If your feed on social media looks anything like mine, you probably get ads for Brick all of the time. This video is not sponsored by Brick, but I do get ads for it all of the time. And I did fall for it. I've had this little guy for probably about 3 months now, and I thought it would be really fun to test my productivity with the Brick. And so if you have not seen this before, basically this locks you out of specific apps on your phone that you choose. And so what I'm going to be doing this week is locking myself out of all social media apps for the next week. And the only exception that I'm giving myself, the only time that I'm allowed to unbrick my phone for the entire week is to post any content that I have. So I like to post on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So when I need to post on those platforms, I will unbrick myself, but immediately after my content has gone live, after I posted my Instagram and my TikToks and my YouTube videos, I'm going back to being bricked and I'm not going to be able to get back into my social media apps until I physically tap my phone to this little brick. Now let's talk about my TBR for this video, and I'm gonna go through a longer list of books than I will ever possibly be able to get through, but you guys are gonna know exactly what's on my radar for the week, and we're gonna be choosing from this list or this stack. I do have both books from my physical TBR to talk about, and then I wanna show you guys what my Libby library hold list looks like because it's insane how many popular books are available to me right now, and it's a little bit overwhelming to be completely honest. First, let's start off with books from my physical TBR, and I basically just tried to pick books that I feel like are the most popular or have been popular for a long time that I have been avoiding for one reason or another. And so one of the more recent books that I have seen everywhere is Phoebe Burman is Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick. Then we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, which is like an OG viral book talk book that has been popular for many, many years, and I've been avoiding this one. Then we have Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I have really liked everything that I've read from Cara Bastone. Also, this got picked on my monthly TBR. So I was like, it's viral, it got selected, let's add it. And then the final book from the physical TBR that's on my radar that also got chosen in my monthly TBR is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. You guys were raving in the comment section about how good this book is. So this is like top of mind for me. I would love to read this book in this video. And now let's talk about all of my Libby holds. So these are books that the library basically says I can check out almost any time. A lot of them have been suspended, which basically just means I need to take myself off of the suspended list. So then I'll be like the next person in line. So if you see that, just ignore it. So available to me to check out soon is Into the Blue by Emma Brody, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, Wild Dark Shore, which is so funny because now I've bought the book, The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff, The Shampoo Effect by Jenny Jackson, Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter, The House of Sky and Breath, which I'm currently reading, but I don't think I'm going to put that in this video, and The Winners by Friedrich Bachman. So I have like so many popular books available to me from Libby. Some of probably the two top ones that I have here are Into the Blue by Emma Brody and The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, but I did want to also let you guys know that I do have Yesteryear downloaded onto my Kindle from Libby, but I put my Kindle on airplane mode, so I still have it, even though I no longer have it from my library. If you put your Kindle on airplane mode, you keep books until it goes off of airplane mode. So that will probably get read in this video as well. Clearly I have way longer of a TBR than I'm ever going to possibly read in 1 week, but I will tell you that the book we are starting out with this week is Phoebe Burman is Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick. This book is my in-person book club book, and I'm actually already pretty far into it. It just happens to be the book that I'm reading. Today is Monday, so this is where we're gonna be starting. Right now, I am on page 212, chapter 21, and I will update you guys a little bit more in another clip right before I probably start reading again, but this is the first book that we are going to be starting starting with. I am so excited. I'm loving it so far, and it just feels so good to be in the know with what everybody's been talking about because I see this book everywhere, and I've been so curious about my own thoughts on this book for so long. It's been a few hours. I just had dinner and I wanted to update you guys on my thoughts on Phoebe Burman's Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick. As I said before, this is my book club book, so I didn't necessarily seek it out. The group of girls that I read with, we do a vote every single month, and this book won our vote, and I'm honestly really happy about it. This is one of the books that I voted for. And in this story, we're following our main character, Phoebe, and she is 29, and her whole life has really struggled with social anxiety, and for this reason, she has never had a serious romantic relationship. And since she's 29, about to turn 30, she starts really freaking out about this and how she's still a virgin. And she's like, that's it. By the time I turn 30, I need to lose my virginity, and that's that. And so she makes a bucket list, or like a list of things to do in order to lose her virginity by the time that she's 30. And I just have really enjoyed reading a romance book about a character who is dealing with a lot of insecurity, a lot of social anxiety, just real things that women and people go through all of the time. And in like normal romance books, you see these huge romantic gestures and everything just flows, and like there aren't these awkward moments with men and like things that actually happen in real life. And Phoebe just seems like a very real and very relatable character, and so I absolutely love her for that. This book is hilarious. Like, I've been giggling, kicking my feet, absolutely obsessed. I really did not know what I was gonna get when I picked up this book. Like, I did not think it was gonna be as funny as it is. There's like text messages, and they have this really fun group of friends. It also takes place in LA, and I went to college in LA. I lived there for 6 years, and so there's all these street names and references to places that I know so well. And so that's been really fun for me, reading about a book that's set in one of my favorite places. Another thing that I've really loved about this book is there's all these potential love interests. Like, there's all these different men that sort of enter into the book, and you don't really know who it's gonna be, if it's gonna be anyone, what's gonna happen, how her bucket list is going. It's not like clear, which I think it is in most other romances, exactly where the book is gonna go. And I will say, we just reached a point where there was sort of a big plot twist that I was not expecting at all. And I don't think I like it. Like, I don't think I loved the plot twist that we got at this point. Like, we're getting a third act conflict, but it's not necessarily a third act breakup, because again, there's so many men. Like, it could literally be anyone. And yeah, overall, I'm having a really good time. Not fully obsessed with how the ending is going. I do probably have about 50 pages left at this point, but I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna try to just lock in and finish this book tonight. I don't have any plans. I ate my dinner. I did all my chores. I did all my work. Like, we are good to go. And now I'm just gonna really lock in and continue reading Phoebe Burman. I'm so excited. Hello besties, and happy Tuesday. It is the next day, and I did successfully finish Phoebe Burman's Gonna Lose It last night. And I had so much fun reading this book. Like, who is gonna tell me that this is actually the funniest, silliest, most perfect book to pick up if you're just looking for a fun, good time? I had so much fun reading this book. I think I said in my last update that I wasn't super obsessed with where this book went. Like there was I would say it was a bit of a plot twist or a bit of a turn in the last like 100 pages. If you've read this book, then you probably know what I'm talking about, but there was something that happened that I didn't see coming. And I texted one of the girls in my book club because I unfortunately couldn't make it to this month's book club. I had to finish this on my own time. And I texted one of the girls and I was like, hey, did everyone in the book club like pick up on this twist, or am I just dumb? Basically everybody picked up on it except for me. Like I think maybe one or two other girls missed it, but I didn't pick up on this like big thing. And it's a thing that I'm normally very good at picking up on, so I'm really surprised that it didn't get me. All that I'm gonna say, there are lots of men, lots of options for Phoebe in this book. And I'll just say that the man that I was rooting for is not who she ends up with, basically. And I ended up really loving the ending. I loved where this book went, but like that initial turn, that initial twist kind of surprised me. And I also really loved Phoebe's character growth, and she learned a lot about herself. She learned that she doesn't need a man, which is not a spoiler. I feel like anyone would read this book and hope that she learns that. And it was just such a cute, fun, sweet romance. So this is so good, so fun, and one book checked off for the week. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna rate it. I'll probably put like a rating on the screen. Right now I'm between a 4 and a 4.5, probably like a 4.25. Like when I finished it, I was like, oh, 4, but I keep thinking about it. So I'm like, maybe it's like a 4.5. I don't know. I'm gonna put my official rating on the screen somewhere. So that's one book done. I'm so happy about it. And so that means that we are starting our second book, and I did decide to read Yesteryear. Guys, I'm so excited about this. I am reading this on my Kindle, but my Kindle is in the other room and I'm too lazy to go get it. I have been hearing so many people talk about this book. It's crazy. I did start it last night. I made it to part 2. So I want to say I'm like, I don't know, maybe 40 pages into the story. We are following this woman who is an influencer trad wife, which basically means she makes videos online about living a traditional wife lifestyle. So she like cooks for her family, cleans, raises chickens, lives on like a farm, like homestead type of situation. But we get an inside look at like the camera crew and her nannies and all of these people helping her. And so we watch her, and she's just like such a ridiculous main character. Like she is very religious. Religion is a big part of this book. And she's like, thank you, Jesus, for all of my followers on Instagram. Like it is just crazy town. Like the things that this book says, like it's already so unhinged. We know from the back of the book, and also this happens pretty early on, that she ends up like one morning waking up in a different time period, and that's the part that I just got to. So she wakes up and she's not in her bed, and she doesn't recognize her sheets, and she doesn't like recognize everything. And then I like drifted off and started falling asleep. So then she's gonna have to actually like live the trad wife area that she's performing online, which is crazy. And I'm having a great time. I'm early on in this book, but I'm having a phenomenal time. Could not complain. And then the last thing that I wanted to just update you guys on in this clip is my brick, how long I've spent bricked out of my phone. So let me go grab that and we can talk about it. Okay, I just brought you guys over to my desk. Here is my brick, which I normally keep on the fridge, but since I filmed the intro in here yesterday, the brick is still sitting in here and I haven't like unbricked myself. Right now on my brick, I do have like a calendar. I like automatically lock myself out of my phone from 5 p.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. the next day. So technically I'm only allowed into my socials apps for like 5 hours a day is how I normally do it. I'm very restrictive because I don't like wasting my life away on my phone. I'm trying to find, okay, activities. So my average brick time yesterday, I guess my average brick time right now is 15 hours. Can you see that? 15 hours and 20 minutes. So yesterday on Monday, August 3rd, I was bricked for 23 hours and 40 minutes. And I do post like short form content on Mondays. So that makes sense that there is 40 minutes of me, or I'm sorry, that there's 20 minutes being allowed into my phone. And then today we're at 15 hours and 32 minutes. I do, like I said, have that automatic schedule set. So I'm going to need to turn off that schedule because inevitably there's going to be periods of time where I'm not bricked. So I need to just turn it off and like leave my phone bricked. Otherwise it'll automatically let me out, which is what happened today. So I need to fix that, but that's where we're at right now. 23 hours and 40 minutes yesterday, and then 15 hours and 32 minutes for today. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think that's all of my updates for now though. I am gonna edit some YouTube videos and then hopefully do a little bit of reading Yesteryear tonight. I've been reading Yesteryear for the last hour-ish on my Kindle. One thing that I like to do is set a timer to hold myself accountable. Like if I just want to lock in, I'll set like a timer or a stopwatch just to track how long I've been reading. And so this evening after work, I set a little timer, or I don't know if this is, no, I set a stopwatch just to time how long I've been reading. And I'm around the midway point in Yesteryear, so I thought that this would be a good time to update you guys and just give my halfway through thoughts. Right now, I'm on chapter 24 and 42% of the way in. And honestly, as I was thinking about what I think about this book and what I wanted to say in this update, the only word that comes to my mind is just bizarre. Like the further into this book I get, the more bizarre that it feels, because you think at the beginning, you think you know what's happening. You've read the blurb of the book and I'm like, oh, she's teleported back in time and she's living like this trad wife era that like she's pretending to be online and is like being performative about online. But then you read more and things just make like less and less sense. Like her husband is a little different and her kids are a little different and her house is a little different. And is it because she's been transported back to the 1850s or is it because of something else? Like there's so many mysterious elements that don't make a lot of sense. And I have no idea how we're going to like wrap this book up. I also find Natalie as a main character to be fascinating. I've heard a lot of people say that they like hate the main character and they hate reading from her perspective. And while objectively she's like not a great person and she has a lot of issues, I find her so captivating to read from. I'm loving hearing her inner dialogue and her inner thoughts and like all of the things that she says, like these controversial, crazy hot takes. I'm like, you are so entertaining and I'm loving every single second of it. And it's definitely a page turner. Like every time I finish a chapter, I want to keep reading and I want to get to the next chapter. And that's just a really great feeling. I felt that with Phoebe Burman and I'm feeling it in a completely different way with this book, which is just so awesome. And I can honestly say I've never read a book like this before, but something that you guys know about me and something that I've been saying on my channel recently a lot just in 2026 is my favorite sorts of books lately have been books that have different elements from different genres. And this like perfectly fits into that description. We have sci-fi elements, we have fiction elements, we have historical elements, and they all just kind of mix together in this new, fresh, interesting perspective, this sharp perspective that I've never heard before. And I think that's what I'm loving about this book is that it just feels so unique from so many other stories that I've read, because after reading so many books, they can all start to feel a little bit the same. And so I love this just like complex and new genre bend, and I'm absolutely loving this book. So hopefully I'll get to read a little bit more tonight. I would love to make a lot of progress on this book today and tomorrow and hopefully start another book this weekend. And I've been doing really, really good, you guys, with being bricked out of my phone. I'll probably do another like full brick update, screen time update later in the video, but just know that I've been really, really good. I have not been scrolling on the socials. I guess I'll tell you just for today and then I'll wrap this update up. Just for today, I'm up to 18 hours and 37 minutes bricked out of my phone and it's 7 o'clock at night right now. So I feel like that's really good. I've like not really been in my phone barely at all. I had to post something on Instagram this morning for a brand, but other than that, like we are good and I am locked out of my phone. So I'm feeling really good about this. I'm having a great time with this story and I'm just so curious to see how it wraps up. Like I have absolutely no idea where this book is going. It's actually been quite a few days since I updated the reading vlog, and today is actually the final day, technically, of the challenge. I do think I'm going to keep this video going a little bit longer just so I can finish my final read of the video. But it is Sunday, happy Sunday, and I have so many reading updates for you guys, but also a little bit of book shopping updates. Today is actually National Book Lovers Day, and I didn't even really realize this when I was going to the bookstore. I was driving and I passed by Half Price Books, which is like my favorite place ever. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop in. And I realized as I was leaving the store that it's National Book Lovers Day. And I was like, oh my God, perfect. I celebrated and I didn't even do it on purpose. I ended up going book shopping for not new books, but for trophies, if you will, of books that I've already read. I've been reading so many books from the library and not really growing my physical TBR. And so what that means is I have a lot of absolute favorite books that I have not bought, that I don't own, and I like talk about and recommend on my channel all the time, and that I would love to reread in the future. And so I have a mini book haul for you guys, which is going to very smoothly transition into a reading update, and you will see exactly why. And so the first book that I picked up, which was one of my favorite books from this year, was The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I've been eyeing this book down at Half Price Books every time I go, and so I decided that this time I did just want to pick it up and add it to my collection. I would really love to reread this book in the future. So that is book number one. And then book number two, which I actually finished just last night, is Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. Guys, crazy. I found this for half price, obviously, because it's Half Price Books. This was $15, less than $15, which is amazing for like a very popular hardback book. So I read this book last night. I did end up loving it. And when I saw this at half price, I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect opportunity. I literally have to buy it. And so that transitions us into our little book review, but I am actually sweating so much, so I need to take this off. I've spent a good chunk of this week reading the viral read Yesteryear, and I actually ended up having such a fun time with this book. The longer and longer we read it, the less and less we trusted our female main character, and I won't say why exactly that is, but I will add into this review that there is a really fun, I don't want to say plot twist necessarily, but just like change in direction in this book in the last like maybe 20%, 10%. That is so fun, and I had no idea what was happening, and it totally threw me for a loop. I did not see it coming, but I kind of loved it. This book felt like a very sharp critique of social media, influencers, raising our kids online, showing your kids on social media, all of these very important topics that I feel like we haven't really seen the byproducts of. And so I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of the issues that were explored in this book in lawsuits in the future. It's already starting to happen now. And I just really enjoyed this book. So twisty and unlike anything I've ever read before. I have not been able to stop thinking about it. I could not put it down before falling asleep last night. Like I probably should have gone to bed a little bit earlier than I did, but I just absolutely loved it. So I think I'm gonna go with a 4.5. This was so fun. Not my perfect read just because I didn't like fully emotionally connect, but this book isn't like meant to be like that. And if you read it, I think you'll understand why. But this was so fun, highly recommend. And then that brings us to our final book. And this book I actually did start today, and I decided to read The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I downloaded this book onto my Kindle, and I also have the audiobook available to me, both from the library. And when I was trying to decide which like third viral book I wanted to do in this video, I ended up choosing The Correspondent purely because of how many comments I have gotten from you guys about how I absolutely need to read this book. So I'll give you guys a deeper dive into what the book is actually about when I've made it further in. And so I do think that I'm going to continue this video up until I finish The Correspondent, and we'll do like a full review of social media and my time offline. Those are all my book updates. I have been having so much fun reading all these popular books, and so far it's looking like they're popular for a reason because I'm loving my books so far. But I will check back in with you guys around that halfway point for The Correspondent. This afternoon I reached the halfway point in The Correspondent, and so I wanted to jump on the video and just give you guys a bit of an update on how I'm feeling about The Correspondent. I don't think I really talked about the plot or anything, so I'll just fill you guys fully in right now. I completely understand why people love this book so much and the story so much. In The Correspondent, we are following our main character, Sybil, and the whole novel is epistolary, so we are reading all of Sybil's correspondence, the letters that she's writing to her friends, the letters that her friends write back to her. Also, we're reading all of her emails, and we do not get anything else. So we don't get any like inner dialogue, any descriptions, like it's purely Sybil's correspondence, hence the title. The most obvious standout of this book is, of course, the format. I feel like I haven't read a ton of novels that are epistolary, and more specifically, reading letters that aren't just back and forth between two people. We have Sybil's kids writing her and her friends writing her friends' children writing her, and in addition to writing people that she knows well, she also writes letters to people that she doesn't know well, or we get like those emails. So she'll write letters to authors talking about how she really loved their books, or she'll write emails to a customer service agent online. But equally, Sybil is going through a lot. We see through these letters the different things that Sybil is struggling with, and also the things that people in her life are struggling with. We see some of the issues that her children have. We see some of the health issues that Sybil is dealing with as she's gotten older. At the start of this book, Sybil, I want to say she's 73 at the beginning of this book. At the point that I am now, she's 77, but she's like in her 70s, and she's dealing with a lot of things that everyone deals with as you get older and your body starts to decline. We hear a lot about these challenges from Sybil's perspective. There's also not like a major plot. I wouldn't say there's one plot line carrying us through the entire story. That said, though, there are different smaller plot lines, I might argue. Like there's little things, that little threads that we're following throughout, and we hear it referenced in a bunch of different ways. So like Sybil will talk about something in a letter to her daughter, and then we'll hear a slightly different perspective on that same thing in a letter to her best friend, that kind of thing. And that's really fun and really unique. Another thing that I'm also really appreciating about this book is Sybil just feels like a very normal person. Like as I'm reading this book, it feels very much like I'm reading the story of a woman who is in her early to mid 70s, and she's nothing extraordinary, which sounds terrible, but like she's just a normal person living life who has friends and family and kids, and she's been through a lot, but in the same way that everyone else goes through a lot. And she doesn't feel like she has any of these crazy qualities. What makes her unique as a character is reading her journals, but other than that, like she just feels totally normal, which I feel like could be a critique on some books, but in this context, I'm really liking it. I think we're definitely sitting in like the 4 to 5 star range. I can't say that I've connected with this book on the level that I think I've heard so many people connect with it. But that said, this feels like it could be one of the slow burn, like quiet, creeping up on me in the background. Like as I'm reading, I'm feeling more and more connected to the story, and I don't even really notice it as it's happening. So I don't actually know. I have no idea where this book is going to go. First of all, I have no idea, since there's not much of a plot. Who knows how it's going to end? And then equally, I don't know like how I'm going to feel about it by the end, because I've slowly connected with it more and more and more. Like it wasn't like I started reading it and immediately I was like, oh, this is a 5 star. Like I get the hype, whatever. It slowly trickled in. Those feelings, like I'm like, oh, like wait, I really am starting to like Sybil, and I'm starting to care about all these people in her life and the people that she writes to and stuff like that. And so we'll see. I'm curious how much my feelings are going to change between now at the 58% mark to the end of the book. Those are my thoughts. It's Tuesday today, and I'm flying through this book. I think I started it on Saturday or Sunday maybe, and I'm flying through it. As of this afternoon, I finished the Correspondent, which means I have finished the final book for this video. And I don't know, I feel like when I finish books, I'm usually like, oh my God, that was so fun, or I had such a great time. And honestly, this book was quite a ride, and I was definitely crying while packing up my mail club. I think you guys would have seen in some of the B-roll, I did listen to a lot of this book over audio, which I didn't say in that first update, I don't think. I started with both the physical reading on my Kindle, and then equally I had the audiobook available to me, and I was doing both, but I realized as I was reading it that I liked the audiobook more. They had different actors for every single person in the book. So like Sybil had an actor, her kids had different actors, her best friends had different actors, and they would read the letters that they wrote, and I really loved that experience. It felt very immersive, and so I was listening to the end of the audiobook while folding up my Cozy Reader newspaper and then just like working on all of the other things for my meal club. And it felt like, I don't know, it was so cool because I was reading a book about letters and writing as I was packing up letters to all of my bookish pen pals all over the world. Like just today, you wouldn't have seen this, but just today I was putting different stamps on everyone's letter, and I was putting the international stamps on the letters going to my international friends and putting the US stamps going to all of my like pen pals in the US, and that was just so cool, while also listening to a book about correspondence and writing letters in the US, outside of the US, and it was so fun and so beautiful. I really loved this story, and it definitely did the thing that I thought it was going to, where as I read it for longer, I connected with it more and more and more. I will say though, I don't think that this was quite a 5-star for me. I think right now I'm sitting at around a 4.5, which is an amazing rating, and you guys know how deeply and insanely picky I am with rating my books. Like getting a 5-star is literally almost impossible from me. And I think honestly the biggest, deepest reason for this is because on the one hand, I loved Sybil and how she wasn't a perfect person. I thought the fact that she made mistakes with her kids and she made mistakes with her friends really humanized her, but equally there were things that Sybil did or she wrote about or behaviors that I just didn't really love and frustrated me with Sybil. And often I really love like a deep, like a frustrating, complex character, but there were just things that about Sybil, I guess, that I wasn't like 100% into. And like there was a lot to unpack, and like she had a lot of layers and stuff, but I think I just didn't have that like super deep-seated like emotional connection with Sybil that I wanted. Loved the book and loved her overall. There were just a few moments where I was like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I really overall loved the book. There are little like crumbs of little romantic plots in there and things with her kids, and I loved it so much. So solid 4.5, which also means, guys, that we've made it to the end of this video. So I wanted to do a quick review of all of the reads that we did, and then I want to do a screen time review and like brick check-in to see how we did in that respect. So the first book that I read in this video was Phoebe Burman's Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick, and I rated this one a 4.5. Absolutely loved this, and definitely is my favorite romance book that I've read in a long time. Then I picked up Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke, and this was also a 4.5 and blew me away. I loved this book, how shocking it was, how twisty it was, and particularly how unique it felt from any other book that I'd read before. And finally, we had The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, which was also a 4.5. We had a straight sweep of 4.5-star ratings this week, which is crazy. This does not happen to me often. You could probably tell by the way that I'm reacting that I almost never have this happen. I am so beyond satisfied with how the week went, and I think one question that I was posing or trying to answer throughout this video is, are these viral reads actually worth your time? And honestly, in regards to the 3 that I picked up this week, 1,000% yes. You could pick up any single one of these books and I think have an amazing, incredible time. And I think it goes to show that sometimes books going viral, it happens for a reason. People love these books and they want to talk about them. Other times books go viral that don't align with me. So in the case of these 3, I would say they were absolutely worth it. I loved them. And one theme throughout this whole week that I was obsessed with is all of these books felt unique and felt different than books I'd read before. Phoebe Burman had a lot of romantic elements that we don't see often represented in romance books. Yesteryear was an incredible genre bend containing all of these different elements together that we don't often see. And The Correspondent was unique due to its writing style and the fact that it was written through letters and emails. So that was something that I loved about all 3 of these books, and I highly recommend every single one of them. As promised at the end of this video, I did just want to quickly review the brick time and just like my screen time for the week. Now, last week I spent so much time bricked, and I'm so happy that that I did this challenge. And unfortunately, the averages that the Brick app provides are like on a weekly basis. So the Brick averages are Monday through Sunday, but I started this on a Sunday, so my average is not quite right because I didn't start bricking my phone until Monday. So it says that the average is 21 hours and 4 minutes, but it's including the wrong day. So I'm gonna recalculate it in just a second. But starting on Monday, I spent 23 hours and 40 minutes bricked. Then Tuesday, I spent 23 hours and 55 minutes. Wednesday was 22 hours and 42 minutes, which I do distinctly remember that day. I forgot to brick my phone. Like I wasn't using it. I just forgot to re-brick it after I was doing something. Then on Thursday, 23 hours, 36 minutes. Friday, 23 hours, 17, 23 hours, 20 minutes. And then the following Sunday was 23 hours exactly, which is amazing. Obviously, I wasn't locking myself out of my entire phone. And so I was curious to see how it impacted my screen time overall. And last week, my screen time was down 20% from previous weeks with an average of 3 hours and 17 minutes spent on my phone, which I don't think, like, that's not great, but that's also not terrible. And I think locking myself out of social media apps definitely contributed to the fact that my overall screen time was down, which is amazing. And I did read more books. I don't read super quickly. I am definitely a slow reader. I watch so much content of people reading so many books, and I am just unfortunately not one of those people, but I do feel like I got through such an incredible number of books. And so I'm feeling very happy and very satisfied with this challenge. If you guys have read any of these books, please let me know. I would love to hear some of your takes on them. And if you guys made it all the way here, comment the cherry emoji down below for Phoebe Burman's Gonna Lose It. Be sure to like and subscribe if you guys are interested in more cozy bookish content from me. And I think that's it. I hope you guys are having the best day and the best reading month, and I will see you on Saturday for my next bookish upload. Bye!